Hey guys, today is August 24th. We're going to be going over one-step and two-step equations. This should pretty much be review, so I'm going to go through this pretty quick. The first example that you have here, we're looking at problems with addition, and the second part, we're looking at problems with subtraction. So when we're looking at these, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can actually see. I'm going to zoom in, and you can do the same on yours as well so you can see them better. Zoom. Okay, so looking at the first example, you'll notice that it says y plus 6 is equal to 9. Remember that when they're adding, to solve an equation, you always do the opposite of whatever operation is being done. So since they're adding 6, you're going to do the opposite and take away 6. You get rid of whatever they're adding or subtracting to that variable. So if you do it to one side of the equation, you always have to do it to the other side. Here's your equal sign. Since I took 6 on this side, I had to do it to the other side. So my y value, 9 take away 6, my answer is y equals 3. Problem 2. You'll notice that you have y plus 3 equals 1. Since they're adding 3, again, the opposite is take away. So take away 3. That just leaves you with x by itself over here. And I take 3 from this side, I end up with x equals negative 2. On problem 3, the a is on the other side, so we're looking over here now. So a plus 4, I'm going to do the opposite of plus 4, which is take away 4. So I take away 4 from the other side, and that gives you negative 7 is equal to a. That's also the same thing as a equals negative 7. Problem 4. 14 plus m equals 20. Since they're adding 14 to m, you're going to take away 14. So I take 14 from this side, so my m is equal to 6. Problem 5. The sum. The word sum means to add, so we're going to add a number and 3. So I'm adding a number plus 3 that's a fancy way of saying equals, so it's equal to negative 2. And now we can follow the same process. Here's your equal sign, find x. They're adding 3, so the opposite would be take away 3 from the other side, so your x is equal to negative 5. Okay, so here I went ahead and I input all of my answers into my notes so we have them there for later reference. The second part, we are going to be subtracting. So the opposite of subtraction is to add. So on problem number 6, you'll notice that it has x minus 2. So the opposite of minus 2 is to add 2. So I'm going to come to the other side and I'm going to take that 1 and add 2, which gives us 3. Example 7, y minus 3. The opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. So I'm going to add 3, which gives us y equals 7. Problem 8. R minus 4. So because they're taking away 4, we do the opposite and we add 4. So R is equal to, we add 4 on this side, we get positive 2. Problem 9. Q minus 8. The opposite of minus 8 is plus 8. So we're going to add 8 over here, so that gives us negative 1 is equal to Q. Again, I can switch that around, so Q is equal to negative 1. Number 10. If you decrease, that means if you subtract a number by 4, so you take a number and you subtract it by 4, the result is equal to negative 5. So here's our problem. It says find the number. So same process, the opposite of minus 4 is to add 4. Oops, I meant to write 4. And add 4 over here, so x is equal to negative 1. So you'll go ahead and complete this in your notes and type in your answers for later reference. Now we're moving on to page 2. So looking at the second page, here we're still solving one-step equations, except this time we're dealing with multiplication and division. So on problem 1, you'll notice that it says 20 equals 4z. That 4 and z, I'm going to draw a line down the middle. If you look at z, it's being multiplied by 4. So the opposite of multiplying by 4 is to divide by 4. So 20 divided by 4, that gives you 5 equals z, or z equals 5. Problem 2, negative 8g equals 24. So the opposite of multiplying this right here by negative 8 is to divide by negative 8. So when I divide by negative 8, I end up with g equals negative 3. Problem 3, negative 6e. The e is on this side, so we're going to divide by negative 6, and I divide this side by negative 6. So I end up with negative 5 equals e. The next problem. If you look at this one, H is being multiplied by -9, so I divide by -9. Divide this side by -9, so H is equal to 8. Negative divided by negative gives you +8. Okay, over here, product. That word means to multiply. So if you multiply a number and 5, so that's like 5 times a number, so 5x, it's equal to, remember that word means equals, -35. So looking at my x, they're multiplying by 5, so the opposite is divide by 5. So when I divide the other side by 5, my x value is equal to -7. Okay, so here I went ahead and input my answers for the multiplication problems. Next, we're moving on to solving equations with division. So with division, you're going to do the opposite of dividing, which is to multiply. So if you look at this first example, x is being divided by 4. So the opposite of dividing by 4 is to multiply by 4. When I do that, those two 4s are going to cancel out. So all I have to do is come to the other side and multiply by 4. So x equals 28. Problem 7. M is being divided by -6, that's division. So the opposite is multiply by -6. Those two are going to cancel out, so I multiply the other side by -6. So M is equal to -36. Problem 8. R is being divided by 2, so the opposite, multiply by 2, multiply this side by 2, so R is equal to -24. Problem 9. G is being divided by -3, so the opposite is to multiply by -3. Okay, so when I multiply this side by -3, a negative times a negative gives you a positive, so G is equal to 45. Problem 10. The quotient of a number and -4 is 5. So quotient, that word means to divide. So if I divide a number, so here's my number, if I divide it by -4, is means equals 5. So it equals 5. So the opposite of dividing by -4, again, multiply. So multiply the other side by -4. These two cancel out. So your x is equal to -20. Okay, so I went ahead and I input all of my answers here for solving equations with division. Now we're moving on to two-step equations. So for two-step equations, we are going to get rid of whatever they're adding or subtracting first. And then second, we're going to work on whatever they're multiplying or dividing by. So on this one, our first step is going to be figuring out what are they adding or subtracting to the variable. So you'll notice that they're adding 2. So the opposite would be take away 2. So once I take away 2 from this side, we end up with 3x is equal to 21. Now, x is being multiplied by 3, so the opposite is to divide by 3. X is equal to 7. Problem 2. Same process. You always want to look at whatever's being added or subtracted. So since they're subtracting 7, we're going to add 7. So adding 7, that gives you -2y equals 10. Then we're going to divide both sides by -2, and y is equal to -5. Problem 3. -3n minus 8 equals 7. So the opposite of -8 would be +8. So add 8 to the other side. We get -3n is equal to 15. Then we're going to divide by -3. So n is equal to -5. Problem 4. K divided by -2 plus 7. So they're adding 7. That's what we take away first. Take away the 7. So we have K divided by -2 is equal to 3. Now, because they're dividing by -2, we're going to multiply by -2 and multiply the other side by -2. So we end up with K is equal to -6. Okay, for problem number 5, it says 3 more than is another word for saying you're adding. So 3 more than the product, that means you're multiplying a number and 4. So since we have to multiply a number and 4, we're going to write those side by side. 4x is means equals 15. So it is equal to 15. And now we just have to work it out and find the number. So again, remember you always look at whatever they're adding or subtracting. So since they're adding 3, I take away 3. So 4x is equal to take 3 from this side, and we get 12. 4x, that's being multiplied, so we're going to divide by 4, so x is equal to 3. Problem 6, 5 less than means you're subtracting 5 from 3 times a number. So 3 times a number, we're going to do that first. And we want 5 less than that. So that means we have to take away 5 from that because it's 5 less than this is, which means equals 1. And same process. So the opposite of minus 5, plus 5, add 5 over here. 3x is equal to 6. And then we divide by 3. So x equals 2. Problem 7. The product, that word means you're multiplying 2 and a number. The product of 2 and a number is increased, which means plus, by 9, adding 9. The result, which means equals negative 17. What we're going to do is we're going to get rid of whatever's being added or subtracted first. So take away 9, take away 9. So 2x is equal to negative 26. And then we're going to divide by 2. So x is equal to negative 13. On the last one, if you subtract 3 from twice a number, so we're taking away 3 from twice the number. So you want to write twice the number first, and you want to subtract 3 from that. The result is 25. So same process, get rid of whatever's being added or subtracted. So the opposite is plus 3. Add 3 over here. So 2x is equal to 28. And lastly, divide by 2. So x is equal to 14. Okay, those are your notes for today, guys.